So, yes, I can see from chemical engineer, you went across to a big company in the USA, and from there into preservation and also sorts of things that you're doing. Now you're here because you're also part of this other organization you call India Vision Institute,
Yep.
which is to improve or bring eye care to a whole bunch of people who otherwise would stay blind or not get any help. How did that happen? And you are the CEO of that organization called India Vision.
Actually, it was quite an interesting journey there. When I was working quite extensively internationally in heritage, the Australian Minister for Foreign Affairs, he appointed me to one of the boards within the Foreign Affairs and Trade Department called the Australia-India Council. They normally appoint 5 to 6 people there with a strong focus to work with India. Now, one of my fellow board members, a great humanitarian by the name of Professor Brian Holden, he's actually got the patents for a particular contact lens.
Yes.
And that was bringing a little bit of intellectual property returns, and he would put all the money back in humanitarian things around the world. Now, they work quite extensively in Africa, in China, in Vietnam, in Pakistan, and many parts of the world. He's been to India about 75 times, and I've traveled with him about three of the 75 times, especially the last 3. And he's been working for about 25 years with Dr. G.N. Rao, the chairman of the L.V. Prasad Eye Institute, and Hyderabad-based, another great humanitarian. And one of the things that he was very keen is to deal with one issue that India has now, which is something that India can deal with, and that is the whole issue of uncorrected refractive error. People who need a pair of glasses but don't have access to
That's the simple meaning of the word uncorrected, refractive, whatever.
That's it.
They need glasses.
Yeah, they need glasses. That's it. Need a pair of glasses, 100 million people, rural parts of India mostly. What can we do about them?
Okay.
And the statistics are phenomenal. I mean, I think by solving this, it's great not just for the individual but also for the country. Imagine you're a tailor, mid-40s.
Your life is over at 40 and now you can push it on for another
I mean,
15 years.
but you can't work. Say you can't
over.
stitch, and which your family gets into poverty. They say India loses about $26 billion a year in lost productivity just because of this one single issue.
Poor eyesight. Yeah,
one single issue. And so part of our strategy here is this 100 million people, we can keep looking at providing glasses, but we can't reach this large number. And also it's not sustainable. Once you give, who's going to deal with the whole issue? The next time, every 6 months they might need some assistance or the other.
Yes.
But looking at the other statistics, to deal with the population size that India has, you need 120,000 trained people. This is again based on the population to optometrist ratio that's available in other parts of the world.
Okay.
India has got about 40,000. And that's the prime problem why
You're short of trained staff.
So you need 3 times the current number of trained staff. And if we can get there, ultimately the whole thing becomes... And to do that is very much what the prime interest for India Vision Institute would be. I'm not saying we'll solve it in the next 5 years. I think it could take up to 20 years, but we'll make a huge jump in the right direction over the next 5 years.
So all this work is actually being done in the rural areas, or what they call tier 3 and tier 4 and tier 2 cities, smaller and smaller towns?
The work we are doing currently very much is, there are close to 150 colleges that teach optometry. Many of them need to be strengthened. If you make them stronger, even if each of them can produce 20 to 30 graduates, that's a reasonable number.
Per course, per year.
So you just need to push that. Out of the 150, just a handful are strong. So how to strengthen that? Right from teacher training to increasing awareness so that more people would enroll for the course. And plus, more of the population should also understand what optometry is, which means, when they're looking at a career option. And I'll strongly recommend optometry as a career option, because I guarantee you'll get paid more.
Well, we see it because they say Vasan Eye Hospital is springing up all over the country like mushrooms, so there must be a need and there must be money in it also.
And but more importantly, I think you're doing something that is going to make a difference to someone's life. I'll give a very small example. A small part of what we do is we do some outreach activity. I went to a gypsy colony in Chennai, and we handed some glasses. We test them, then we provide some low-cost glasses.
Yeah.
There was this guy who was probably about 45, that's what he says, but he looks that age. I don't know what his real age is. As soon as he wore it, he started reading all the numbers, and he said he could never read anything that is written for the last 10 plus years.
But he knew the numbers.
He went on 1, 2, 3. He just went on. He must have probably read when he was younger or
somebody
whatever.
Taught him, yeah.
Yeah, and it's amazing. I mean, you couldn't stop him. And I think that's the kind of practical difference that one can make. Ultimately, I think this is something that India can solve.
How long do you think the time frame we need to before we lick the problem, if ever?
I think in 5 years probably we'll make a dent. In 20 years we'll probably
Sort the problem out totally.
Yeah. We'll get the necessary human resources, but we need good partners, because everything that we are doing now, it's very much a partnership between the Brian Holden Mission Institute.
So is it still government to government, or is it private?
No, it's a trust.
It's a trust. So you're okay to working with
individuals and others who can partner and then probably assist. So
spread the good word.
Yeah. And also the ophthalmic industry too. Like, one of the statistics I would be quite keen to mention in this program is the Indian ophthalmic sector is worth about 2 billion. The global sector is worth about 200 billion. Based on our population, as part of the global population, it should be worth at least 30 billion. That's a golden opportunity for the industry to expand.
Big bucks also, apart from doing good deeds. Thanks, Daniel. It's been lovely to having you with us. And I hope, Vinod, when you get back, you will provoke more Aussies to come over here and do some more good work here. Thanks a lot for coming.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.